What's up everyone, Sean Count Blaggerth here today with an album review, this time of the 2013 Sepulchral Productions release of Gris. Now, I'm not going to try to pronounce this title just like the last review because I will destroy it completely. If you're not familiar with Gris, they are an atmospheric, they've been labeled as suicidal depressive black metal band hailing from Quebec, and their last album is a great album. I don't see it in such a high regard as a lot of people do. I still think it's a very, very solid album. Their old material is phenomenal, especially with their old name, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but that material was good. Then they changed their name to Gris, and they really stepped up their game. And on this album, this is an absolute piece of perfection. This is a double album, so when you listen to this album, you need to set aside a lot of time. This is a very time-consuming album to listen to. Gris are one of those bands in atmospheric black metal that really like to build up a certain feeling, and they don't rely on the cliche of atmospheric black metal, which is keeping it extremely repetitive. I do like that stuff. However, I like this a lot more, and this is starting to become not only my favorite album of the year, spoiler alert, this is my favorite album so far of the year, but this is starting to become one of my favorite albums in general. This is some spectacular stuff. Let's begin with this. It's hard to really find a place to start since there's so much to really talk about with this album. Gris had pretty much crafted what I would consider to be a absolutely perfect piece of unique atmospheric black metal. The song structures vary from time to time. There's nothing that really gets too repetitive. There's not much that's brought back in the song. Once when they go through one part, it's not really brought back that much. But what they do is they craft these songs with a lot of feeling and emotion behind it. And it's just absolutely beautiful, some of the soundscapes they create with using the violin and piano and acoustic guitar alongside the abrasive black metal sound that they're pretty much known for. One of my favorite parts about this is how it deviates from traditional black metal. It's not a bunch of blast or a bunch of really slow stuff. It is well crafted and well thought out. It breaks the mold of black metal completely, and this is an album that I'm pretty sure a lot of true black metal fans are not really going to appreciate as much as someone who isn't a die-hard old school black metal fan with the black metal mindset that all black metal needs to sound like Darkthrone. This is one of those albums that definitely breaks the mold, and for me, that's what makes this so great. You get an absolutely perfect production on this. A raw production would not work that well on this. For these guys, and especially on this album, they need a clean production. And this is crystal clear. Everything sounds just absolutely spectacular. Everything from the drums to the guitar, the violin, I believe there's cello at a couple points, piano, bass, vocals. Everything is just done extremely, extremely well. The guitar riffs are just well pieced together. There's nothing that seems forced on this. It all has a very natural flow, along with the guitar tone itself being this very natural yet clean and focused sound that is perfect for this style of atmospheric black metal. I find it to be what I would consider to be one of the best guitar tones I've heard all year. It's just a very well focused with a little bit of grit, which is what it needs, but it keeps it clean enough so you can hear all the individual notes within the music, which is a key part of this because a lot of these riffs are not the traditional black metal riffing where it's one chord being held out. There's a lot of different notes being thrown in, a lot of different tones, a lot of different melodies and harmonies, and just overall this very well crafted piece of black metal, and that's just in the guitar department. with the bass just completely adds this different dimension to the music that takes it from being already spectacular and just takes it over the top and just makes it this absolutely jaw-dropping, just emotional piece of music that you can't help but be in awe of. The tone is absolutely perfect. A lot of black metal, I don't like a warm bass tone. This, it needs a warm bass tone, because to me, this album, for a lot of people, black metal reminds them of either really hazy, foggy summer nights, or cold autumn nights, or just really cold winter. For me, this really reminds me of warming up after being out in the cold. This is a warming album, and that's what I like about it, and that's another thing about it that breaks from the traditional black metal sort of sound, is it deviates a lot in the terms of atmosphere, and the bass definitely adds to that. Another thing that I'm absolutely blown away by is the drum performance. The drum performance along with the actual drum sound is just perfect. I love how each drum sounds perfect. All the cymbals sound great. There's nothing that has been cranked up too loud. There's nothing that has too much echo on it. There's nothing that sounds fake. It all sounds genuine. It sounds real. It sounds like you're there, and I love it. The performance itself varies quite a bit from being almost traditional black metal over to this very unique, almost sort of post-rock feel at times in the drum department, and I'm really liking that a lot. It's forward-thinking black metal, and I love it. When it comes to extra instrumentation on this album, it all works extremely well to create this very somber piece of music that you can get completely lost in. When I listen to this album, I am just completely blown away. I'm held back, and I absolutely love this. Vocally, this is just some great, great stuff, from these howling to rasping vocals, just very throaty sounding vocals, but it works extremely well with the music. There's nothing on this album that doesn't work well. It just really ties in together and forms this perfect piece of music, and I can't help but just be in total amazement when I listen to this. Definitely an album I can't recommend enough. This is not for everyone. It actually took me quite a while to truly appreciate this album for what it is. First time I heard it, I thought it was great, but not this great. And one night, it just hit me, and ever since, I've just been blown away each and every time. I've listened to this close for 2 months now, ever since I got the promo, and I can't get enough of it. And I gotta recommend you guys get this. I'm going to be ordering the Digipack version. You guys should order that too. It's limited to 500 copies. This is a double album, so it's extremely long. So set aside a little over 80 minutes of your time and listen to this, because you need to listen to the whole thing together. Each album on its own is great, but together it's even better. So with that said, pick this album up. For a score, I am giving this a 10 out of 10. By far one of the best things I've heard this year and ever heard. So I recommend you pick this up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.